All right, we are on our last activity on the last lesson for Module 3, Topic 2, on two-way tables, or in this case, two-way relative frequency tables. Okay, we're starting on page 504. We'll have an assignment at the end. This looks very similar to, right, we do have a two-way table, but let's get into the context. So it says, you recorded the frequency of a variable. Now you will compare the frequency to a total to create a ratio, and a ratio is just a fraction for each category. Here we're looking at a specific two variables here. So it says a recent study made these conclusions: between 70 to and 90% of the world's population is right-handed. Okay, almost 90% of athletes are right-handed. I'll highlight this. So athletes, so athletics, and then left-handed people have a higher percentage of participation in individual sports, such as wrestling or golf. So not team sports then. And then here it says Mr. Harris math class thinks these figures may be incorrect. They decide to conduct a random survey to determine which hand a person favors and whether the favored hand affects a person's participation in a certain amount of sports, whether they do or do not play. Okay. Well, for now, before we get to the questions here, let's go ahead and put the totals for each one. So as you can see, we have, I'll put this in a different color. We have favored hand and we have sports participation. So are they right-handed, left-handed, or are they mixed? Do they play with maybe both? If you add up for the individuals or people that play an individual sport, right, 3, 6, and 1, this equals 10. Team sport, so you're going to add 13, 23, and 3, that is 39. And that do not play a sport, so non-athletic or athletics, that is 14. And then if we add up now our rows here, so the total amount of people that are left-handed in this math class survey, it was 24. Right-handed people, that's 33, so a lot of right-handed people. And people that are mixed, maybe that they can play with either the left or right hand, that is 6. Now, when we determine this, which is our grand total, you determine that by either adding these values or adding these values. They should equal the same exact number, and that is, in both cases, it's going to be 63. Okay. Number 1, name the two variables displayed in the table. It is, right, favored hand and sports participation. I'll put it there. Which hand did participants favor most in the survey? So which one is the most out of 24, 33, and 9? It is 33, so it is right hand. Right, so we're looking at that total column. And which hand did participants favor the least? So out of those same ones, it is the lowest one, which is 6, and that was mixed. Right, mixed hand. We'll just put 6 in parentheses. Okay. So we're going to be answering some stuff from there, but let's go and move on to these other questions. So number 4, how many total people participated in the survey? We added it already. It was 63 people, or students. Out of all the people surveyed, how many were left-handed, right-handed, and mixed? So there was 24 left-handed, 33 right, and 6 were mixed. And then now talking about sports, out of all the people surveyed, how many participated in individual sports, team sports, or did not? There was 10 that participated in individual. There was 39 that participated in team sports. And then there was, I think it was 14 that did not, we'll just put no, that did not participate in any sports. Okay. Now, moving on from here, our really last key vocabulary term in this topic is this next one. It says you cannot verify that the study's figures are correct by simply looking at the frequencies. We can look at something else. Instead, you can determine the relative frequency. A relative frequency is a ratio And a ratio, right, we talked about is just a fraction. Or percent of occurrences within a category to the total of the category. So total of hand favored or total of sports participation. To determine the ratio of a category, determine the part to the whole, right? That's essentially just a fraction, part to whole of each category. And then determine the percent of a category, set up a fraction with the denominator being the total of each row. So what we're going to put here, and we already have part of it completed for us, is a two-way relative frequency table. Now, as we go through this, it does say complete it, but we're going to put for the frequencies of each favored hand. So the favored hand will be our total. Yeah, so right over here, I'm going to put this off to the side. Favored hand, so favored hand, I'm going to put as a denominator. For left, it was out of 24 people. So for each one here, we're going to put 24. I already have 24 for the first. For right-handed, there was a total of 33. So we'll put 33. We'll get to the numerators in a little bit. And then for mixed it was 6. So all these will be out of 6. And it does say we're going to round decimals to the nearest hundredths place. So if we write a number out here, a hundredths place is where this 3 is at. Right? This 4 would tell us whether to round that 3 up or it stays. Since it's below less 5, it would stay. It would just be 1.23. So we did that here. They actually rounded to the nearest thousands place. But anyways, let's go and continue. So we're going to compare these subtotals from the previous one here. So if you look right here, left and team, it's 13. So we're going to put for left and team, it's 13 out of 24. You can plug this into your calculator. Right, 13 divided by 24. It's a repeating decimal, right? It's going to be 0.54. I'm going to keep writing, but don't write this next part. 166 and so on. Right, so when you round, I'm going to keep this 4, but this 1, it tells me whether to keep the 4 or round up to make it a 5. If that number is less than 5, you keep it as a 4. If it's more than 5, you round it up. So that would be 0.55. But since it's not, we'll get rid of this. We just keep it. So that is 0.54 or 54%. We'll just keep it as a decimal for the sake of this table. But let's go ahead and continue. Left-handed people that do not play a sport, that is 8. All right, and if you divide this using a calculator, you're going to get 0.33. And then finally, what is the total amount of people that are left-handed? We already put this. It's 24, so it's 24 over 24, which is 1. That's it as a decimal, but that would be 100%. So 100% of left-handed people are left-handed. That's what that means. Okay, but let's go and continue now for continuing favored hand, but now for right. So right-handed people that play an individual sport. Actually, let's write all these. It's 6, 23, 4. So 6, 23 is already there. 4, and this is 33. And let's simplify each one. The first one is going to be approximately equal to 0.18, so 18%. We have the second one. The other one is going to be 0.12, 12%, and 33 divided by 33 is 1. And then now let's go to mixed. Mixed, this is 1 out of 6, 3 out of 6, 2 out of 6, and 6 out of 6, which is 1. 1 divided by 6 is 0.1. It's 6, and so on. It continues, but all right, we round here. This 6, since it's bigger than 5, that tells me to make that 6 a 7. So let's erase that. So it's 0.17, so 17%. 3 divided by 6, that's half, so 0.5. 2 over 6 is 0.33, 33 hundredths. And then we have this now completed relative frequency table. So this is all in terms of the relative frequency of favored hand, right? So we can say of the people that are left-handed, what's the probability that they play an individual sport, right? That's right here. Okay. All right, but let's answer some questions now. Analyzing this on the next page. Okay, interpret each of the relative frequencies for each category. So left-handed. So for left-handed, it was specific for left-handed. We had right this. If we move this 2 spaces to the left, this is 12.5%. So 12.5% played individual sport. Play an individual sport. So like we said earlier, it could be golf, it could be wrestling. Moving on for team sport, right? This as a percent is 54%. 54% play a team sport. Play a team sport. And then the other one was 33% don't play. Do not play a sport at all. And let's just go quickly through right-handed and mixed. So for right-handed, it was 18% for individual, 70% for team, and for that, it was 12% that we'll just put no, that do not play a sport. And then mixed, it is right 17 for individual, 50% for team, and 33% for no. So for individual, 50 for team, and 12%, oh, not 12%, oops, 33% play no. Now, it should work out where if you add all these, it equals 100. Now, some of you might not get 100 because we are estimating and rounding, right? Like here, you can see if you add those three values, it might not equal 100 because we have a decimal there. All right, but let's go and continue this for determined for participated in individual. So determine the percent of people who participated in individual team sports. Okay, for left-handed people, so participated in individual and team sports. So that in that case, we're going to add them. So individual and team sports, right? If you take left-handed people and add this and this. So what's the total amount of athletic participation? If you add that all together, that's going to give you 66.5% play a sport. Right, whether it's individual or team. For right-handed people, right, you're going to take 18 plus 70, and that is 88%. And then for mixed, that is 17 plus 50, so that is 67%. Oops. Okay. And then which group of people has the greatest number participate in sports? Well, actually, if you just look right here, right, it is this one right here. So that is right-handed people. Right-handed people at 88%. So if you're right-handed, you have a higher likelihood of playing a sport, at least from this data that we collected. Okay, so we're going to move on to this next part, which is slightly different. It is a relative frequency table, but last time we compared to their favorite hand, left, right, or mixed. Now we're going to compare it to the subtotal of total participation, individual, team, sport, or do not play a sport. So for individuals, it was only 10. So these are all out of 10 now. Right, there's a total of 10 people that played an individual sport. For team, you can see it right here. It is out of 39. Oops. And then for do not play a sport, it is 14 people. I'll set this up on the left side. And we'll plug in, right, the numbers that we have for each subtotal. But I'll go ahead and do this for the first. Let's do it for the first column. So this is 6 individuals are right-handed. So that is 0.6%. Or sorry, this is 0.6, which will be 60%. Mixed, it is 1 out of 10. So that's 0.1. And we already have 10 divided by 10, which is 1. Okay, next one. We'll have 23 out of 39. That is 0.59, so 59%. This is 3, which will be 0.08. And then these should all equal 1, which is technically 100%. Right? 100% of the people that play a team sport play a team sport. That's what that's really saying, which doesn't give us too much information. That do not play a team sport left-handed. There are 8 left-handed people that do not play a team sport, so that is 0.57. There's a total of 2 people that are mixed-handed out of 14, so 0.14. And this is also 1. Okay. All right. For this is right the last page, but we're gonna forego this right here. This you can make this as you do for you to interpret for both of them, but we are gonna skip the next page on talk the talk. We'll go right to the assignment. So the assignment is 509, and you're doing number 1. But you're not doing all the parts. You're almost doing everything, but you're doing A through E. So on the front side, creating your two-way table. The back side, creating your relative frequency table, but do not do F. That's the only one you're not doing. So all of these ones you are. Okay. All right, anyways, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have questions.